Do you want to make a real impact on the lives of children and families? Are you passionate about supporting the fostering community? Then prepare to meet the game changers, the innovators. Prepare to meet the fostering pioneers. Welcome to the Fostering Pioneer podcast, where we shine a light on the incredible work of fostering pioneers in Wales. We'll be talking to the carers who are stepping up, sharing their experiences and driving positive change in the fostering community. Join us as we explore the Fostering Pioneer programme, discover how these carers are making their voices heard and how you can get involved. It's time to be inspired. It's time to hear from the pioneers. Let's get started. Welcome to the Fostering Pioneers podcast. Today we are joined by the wonderful Gemma Struthers. Hello, Gemma.
Hi, Joey.
Gemma, do you want to start by saying who you are and why you're here?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm the Fostering Wellbeing Programme Manager. I obviously work for the Fostering Network here in Wales. I've been doing my job now for around five years, just over 5 years. And I joined the programme when we were just kind of rolling out Fostering Wellbeing as an all Wales pilot across Wales. And gosh, so much has changed from when I started to now. And it's amazing. I genuinely love my job. I think we've got such a great team in Wales. We bring the good vibes, and I think what's really important about fostering wellbeing is that it's all about relational practice and the difference that a good relationship can make. And I think our team really do lead by example with that. We have good relationships in house, but we also have amazing relationships across the board in Wales within the fostering sector, and I just love that.
So you were a programme manager for fostering wellbeing. So what does that involve then?
What is fostering wellbeing as a kind of programme? Well, I think fostering wellbeing was originally kind of set up through Welsh Government to explore social pedagogy, which is a relational practice model, as a framework for improving relationships across the different services within fostering, so health, social care, education, and also improving wellbeing outcomes for children and young people in Wales. We obviously deliver our masterclasses, which are, been delivered now for the last 5 years across Wales, and they really do bring the team around the child together. So there's that kind of co-productive learning experience, and everybody in those sessions have equal status. So, foster carers, social workers, teachers, health practitioners are all there sharing their perspectives, their opinions and their experiences with each other, and helping to kind of really build those relationships within the team around the child. So we know what each other's roles are and how to work with each other best.
And how did that become Pioneers then? So how do Pioneers relate to the wellbeing programme?
The Pioneers was the second sort of separate element of fostering wellbeing. And I think it was funny because obviously when I first started the role, it was in February 2020. And yeah, we just literally went into a massive lockdown a month afterwards. So it was a crazy time to kind of have a relationship-based program, and we now had to deliver that online. So yeah, it was quite challenging, and I think our first priority was to kind of get the masterclasses up and running and sort of evaluate that and sort of get it to a place that it was working. So the Pioneers didn't actually come into play properly until sort of end of 2022. And at that point, we didn't really kind of know what they were going to be and what they were going to look like. We just knew that there was Pioneers currently as part of the pilot model. And so we went along to see them and see what they were doing. And yeah, what they were doing was amazing. And it kind of grew from that, really. We always knew that Pioneers would have a sort of peer mentoring element. We were going to, hopefully have foster carers who had been through the masterclasses who were able to then kind of cascade that learning and share that learning experience with other foster carers and other professionals within the team around the child. But we didn't kind of have a major vision about what it should be or what it could be until we went out to see what other people were doing.
Yeah, so it's what attracted me to joining Foster Network actually when a few years ago when I joined was because I had a background in education, and we'd forever have these conferences where you'll gather together in a hall somewhere, have nice food, and everyone would get really excited about some new educational whiz bang thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, this is amazing, this is so life changing, and then we'd all go back to our schools and our jobs, and nothing would change.
Yeah.
And what I really like about Pioneers is kind of taking the learning from the master classes, but then taking that further and
Yeah.
actually embedding it in the services for the local authorities, through peer support, etc. I think is amazing. I think it's such it kind of creates a sustainable model for support,
Absolutely.
which
Yeah.
is brilliant. So,
Yeah.
why do you think we need pioneers then, Gemma? If someone said, "Oh, we don't need fostering pioneers," what would you say?
You're wrong.
You're wrong. There you go. That's the answer.
Yeah, exactly. I think inherently the foster carer role over the years, especially kind of a few years back, was kind of overlooked quite a lot and not really seen as that kind of key professional within the team around the child. You know, I've spoken to foster carers who've said, they feel undervalued or they don't feel supported. I'm sure you have as well, foster carers who might not feel included in that professional chat or worried about asking questions to their social workers in case it's taken the wrong way, or it sounds like they can't cope. And I think there's also a lot of foster carers who feel isolated within the role, so they don't have anyone they can talk to about fostering stuff. Equally, we've got the State of the Nation report. I think 60% of foster carers reported that they had or were considering leaving the role, and a lot of that was due to lack of support from fostering services, lack of respect, and also burnout and poor wellbeing due to the fostering role. And I'm not by any means saying that pioneers are going to be responsible for solving these challenges, but something needs to change. And I think if we can empower foster carers as pioneers and they can champion the voice of fostering and create a bit of a culture of community and support within their fostering services, then that's going to really help. As I said before, our program's around improving wellbeing outcomes for children and young people, but it's also here to kind of bring equality of status for foster carers as that sort of equal partner in the team around the child. And we want pioneers to be recognised as experts in their field, and we want services to truly listen and value their input on everything to do with fostering. I think I'll come to a little sort of story about a foster care pioneer that I worked with, and as somebody that I kind of worked with very early on in the kind of like pioneer journey. And we had this kind of group of foster carers in North Wales, and she put herself forward and said, I think I'd be really good at this pioneer business, whatever it is. And she'd been fostering for 20 years. So within that kind of period of time, lots of the service staff had changed. The structure within the service had changed. And she was kind of still there and still kind of like, she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was talking about. And in her own words, she had collected children, collected children on the way who had really extreme needs. And she said, if she worked in a health setting, she would be at a consultant level of fostering. And, the service would come to her and ask her questions and ask her what they should do about certain situations. She was always asked to kind of support other foster carers who had children with complex needs. Now, she definitely wasn't on a consultant's salary, but she felt like she was an expert and that she should be treated like an expert. She was very vocal about what she needed to make things work. And she was one of those people that would really advocate for the children, obviously, that she worked with, but also for other foster carers. And I just looked at her and thought, wow, that is what a pioneer is. And that's what we need, people who have that kind of strong passion and voice for how fostering needs to be better. And she was just amazing. Yeah. And she really inspired me to have a bit of a vision about kind of what the pioneers could be and, who they could be.
So I realised, Emma, that we had planned before to put a pause between questions, and I just went through two without pausing.
That's fine. It flowed.
Apology, it flowed, didn't it? But this doesn't flow. Now I've awkwardly interrupted your brilliant points with my waffle. So if I was to meet a pioneer, then I regularly meet pioneers.
Yeah.
What? So can you sort of break it down? What are the sort of key roles of a pioneer?
I think when you think about like who they are and what they do, um, the in general, foster carers and kinship carers. However, we do have a couple of key professionals as well who kind of joined in that pioneer movement. I think Nikki from Nikki
Yep.
Patelba is one
We
of
love
them.
Nikki.
We do love Nikki.
Shout out to Nikki.
She's such a champion. But by nature, pioneers foster carers are very caring and giving people, and they often give beyond their means and beyond what's asked of them, because they want to help and they want to support others, and they want the children to have the best lives and opportunities possible. And I think my vision was always that it wasn't going to be my vision and it was never meant to fit in a box with a list of jobs to do. There had to be a flexible program that was based on the needs of those fostering communities, and also based on the skills and expertise of the pioneers that were coming forward. So it was always about kind of helping to really facilitate the fostering service and pioneers working together to shape what that role looks like for each local authority, but also for it to have an ongoing process of growth. So where the pioneers are embedded, to let them grow and develop that role to be whatever it can be. And it's definitely grown way more than we ever imagined that it could or that it would. And that's due to the vision and motivation of the pioneers across Wales. Like you think about RCT, for example, they were kind of they piloted it. And when we kind of went in to see, how they were getting on and what they were doing, and could we gain any sort of good practice from their model, they were so well established within that service. And the team manager, in her own words, couldn't do her job without them. That was just amazing to see. We knew all along that there would be a large element of peer mentoring involved in the role. And I think it really helped that Foster Wales also set out that one of their objectives was to ensure that there was an adequate peer support system available for foster carers in all local authorities. So it was really good that our programme was able to complement that and support that movement across Wales. And I think that's really helped us to kind of, be welcomed into the different services and help, create those pioneer groups. And I think, the peer mentoring side of things is really working well. We've got lots of pioneers who are out there supporting new foster carers and supporting foster carers who are, experiencing potentially challenging situations or feeling overwhelmed or, not feeling like they've got enough support. And pioneers are adding to that and creating that support and that community within the different fostering services. I think we've kind of like themed it out, haven't we, into like four different themes that pioneers kind of work within. But again, it's hard because it's evolving and changing all the time, which is amazing. So yeah, thinking about recruitment and retention, I know obviously that when foster carers are happy and they feel supported and respected, this is obviously going to help with retention anyway. I was working with a group in North Wales, and they were kind of meeting regionally and just sort of sharing ideas and talking to each other a lot. And there was a new pioneer who was also a new foster carer, and she really wasn't sure that she was the right person to be a pioneer. And we kind of talked it through and talked about, why she wanted to be a pioneer. She was like, oh, I'd like to help other people. I just don't know if I've got the skills and experience to. Because she was quite new, she'd obviously not long been through the process of becoming a foster carer. So she had that experience. So she could obviously kind of relay that to another foster carer who's going through the same thing, who's feeling brand new. But she was also, she'd just kind of taken on a new baby. And she was finding it quite overwhelming and challenging at the time. And she was actually feeling a little bit out of her depth and not quite sure that fostering was actually the right journey for her. And what was amazing to see is all of the pioneers from across the region, I think there was a group of about 6 of them, came together. They supported her by checking in daily. They were meeting up for coffees. They were, chatting through lots of different things. And I just kind of left them to it. It felt good. It felt natural. And about kind of 5 months down the line, she came back and spoke to me, and she was like, if it wasn't for that group of foster carers, I definitely wouldn't still be a foster carer. I had written an email ready to send to the fostering service to say, I just don't think I can do this. I just don't think it's for me. And she's still a foster carer now. I'd still see her. She's, doing amazing. I think she's supported 2 babies through one to return to birth family and one through to adoption. And yeah, she's really thriving and she's still a pioneer. She's helping other people. So yeah, that kind of hit home for me, really, how kind of much of an impact peer mentoring can have, and that kind of like support from other people who are doing the same role as you, just somebody to kind of chat through on a really informal level. It can just make such a big difference to how you're feeling.
Support and sort of peer mentoring is a big part, isn't it, for most of our pioneers across Wales? But I know some are also involved in things like recruitment as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I think what's been really good to see is a lot of services actively kind of working with the pioneers to look at how recruitment should go and what kind of tools that they can use to help recruit other foster carers. And a lot of that is obviously pioneers going along to events, talking about fostering, talking about their positive experiences about fostering. But I think what's also really nice is that they're coming up with ideas. They're coming up with new things that they want to try or new places that they want to reach out to. And so they're really starting to help shape what that recruitment strategy looks like, as well as just kind of going along and being this sort of nominated foster carer that talks about fostering at recruitment events. So yeah, helping out with a lot of recruitment too. And I think the other kind of areas that I've seen lots of really amazing stuff happening is in terms of kind of championing and advocacy. Pioneers are really championing the role of the role of the foster carer and sharing their experience with other teams and other professionals. So it's helping to improve those relationships across services, but also deepen those connections within the team around the child. We've got people who are going along to social worker training sessions, speaking to community support worker teams, going in to speak to schools. Relationships really are everything. And I think, pioneers are able to kind of champion the role of what the foster care is and help people understand how they can kind of work together better, and build those kind of like good relationships going forward. We've seen pioneers proactively supporting change at a local level. So lots of pioneers who are sitting on panels, being part of working groups, really helping to sort of shape change within the individual fostering services, but also at a national level. So, we get requests all the time from Foster Wales, Welsh Government. I think recently the pioneers were part of a speech and language scoping exercise to input their expertise on what training needs there should be for foster carers and professionals who are working with children who have speech and language needs. So as the pioneers are kind of growing in numbers and recognised as a group in Wales, of foster carers who really know their stuff, we're seeing more and more people who are wanting their input and their perspectives on all things to do with fostering in Wales. And that's definitely how it should be.
We've been working with the Book Trust recently, haven't we, as well? So I know we've got some of our pioneers are doing a trial of some story explorers.
Story explorers, yes.
Yeah, so a monthly box of craft and books and kind of guided reading stuff, and it's brilliant. So I've seen some of them, and it's just opportunities like that. I think another way that pioneers are kind of advocating for foster carers and making things better, and they are a mine of knowledge as well, because these are really experienced foster
Yeah.
carers who kind of have opinions and kind of. I always think it's great. I think I love working with them. So Gemma, on the podcast, we like to ask at the end a different kind of question. And the question is, in your area, so where you are in Wales, in the wonderful land of Wales, what would you recommend as a good day out?
A good day out.
Yep.
Does it need to involve food, or is it just
whatever you want?
excitement?
For you, Gemma, if you could choose a good day out, what would it be?
Okay.
Keep it appropriate. What would be a good day, a day out?
A good day out for me. So I just love walking in the hills. I'm so lucky where I live. I've got a beach, literally I can see it. It's 5 minutes in front of me. And then I've got the Carnedd Mountains behind me, which is a short walk as well. So I think wherever I go, I can just literally walk out the house and have a really lovely day out exploring the, amazing landscapes that we've got here in North Wales. However, word on the street as something a bit more exciting, because people might find that a bit boring, is we also have a wave garden. I don't know if you've heard of Surf Snowdonia.
No.
So not about 20 minutes from my house, we've got Surf Snowdonia, which actually closed down not that long ago, and is being reopened. And they are putting, so not only are you going to be able to go there and surf on a lake inland, but they're also putting a chill factor style snow slope. So you'll be able to surf, surf, ski, snowboard, and party on.
Wow, I've never heard of
Literally
a chill factor snowboard.
Have you not? Ah.
You're talking another language. I don't know what you're talking about. It sounds.
But yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal up in North Wales. It just means that there'll be something for everybody to do. But for me personally, the less people the better. I just go up the hills at the back of my house and just keep walking for hours.
So it's been great talking to you, finding out more about Pioneers. So if someone's listening and they don't know much about Pioneers, or they want to find out more, or perhaps interested in finding out if it's something they could be part of in their local authority, what would they do? How could they find out more?
So they could go onto our website. So we have the Fostering Network website, and we have a Fostering Wellbeing page. My contact details are on there. So I'm also more than happy to take emails and calls. And yeah, I think obviously listening to this podcast.
Yep, a good plug for the podcast. Thanks, Gemma. Thanks, Emma.
Oh, it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Well, welcome, Gemma.
Also,
what's this? Oh
how about
no!
You'll probably need a bloopers after this.
That's fine.
Just for my peace of mind.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. I'm gonna laugh through this. I know I am. Are we gonna stop in between each ones?
You can do. Do you want to?
Well, yeah, because otherwise I won't take a breath and I won't know when is a good time to stop.
You're allowed to breathe on a podcast.
And I'll just be like, and
should I say and stop?
Yeah, or something like that.
So when you're being boring, I'll say and stop.
That's it. When I'm being boring.
Stop.
Boring.
Oh no. Okay.
Ooh.
Right. What are we doing?
Podcast.